Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you two methods of washing and restoring a wig depending on the scenario. Basically, the first way I will be showing you is what to do if the wig is already been styled and brushed through and hairsprayed, and the second way is when it is first out of the package, or if it's more of a damaged wig that doesn't necessarily have like hairspray in it but is tangled and a little funky. So for straight out of the package though, what you're gonna definitely need is some fabric softener. This is from the dollar store, so it doesn't necessarily have to be very expensive. A wig brush and or any kind of brush. Next thing you are gonna need is a styrofoam head or a wig head of some kind. This one has obviously been spray painted, but it was $7 at Michael's, which is a little pricey for one of these. I think you can find them probably for cheaper, but I just use this one. I like styrofoam ones because you can stab pins in them, which is good for keeping wigs on and for styling. Another thing that's not necessarily mandatory, but I suggest, is a microphone stand or something that you can stab a wig head onto for longer wigs especially, because it will make it have a stable base for brushing and rinsing. I've seen people do it by clamping it to the side of a table or something of that nature. I personally just have a lot of microphone stands at my house, which are sticks with a tripod on the bottom so they don't tip over very easy, so that's what I suggest. Almost lastly, what I use for if the wig itself has hairspray and a lot of like styling stuff in it is some wig shampoo. This is Wig and Weave Protect Your Investment shampoo. It's kind of a more pricey one. I know there's a cheaper one on Amazon. I especially have this one for my more expensive, like this one's pretty nice, my long blonde wig, that was really an investment, but this gets hairspray out, especially Gotta Be Glued, which is basically spray glue, so I definitely suggest this one for if you use stuff like that. You will also need a pot and a sink. I obviously can't show you a sink, but I can show you, this is my designated wig pot. I do dyeings in it, and I also wash wigs in it. The last thing you'll need, obviously, is a wig. I'm going to use two different ones. My Old Year Rock wig is going to be our styled one, because as you can see, there's a lot of crunchiness, there's been teasing done to that one. So that has a lot of hairspray and a lot of damage, and really just needs to be combed through so it gets that nice soft texture again. And I can do this to it again, and ruin it again, and then restore it again. And then for our other one is this wig I was sent, that it looks not that bad on camera. It looks real bad in real life. It's basically practically just out of the package. There's no hairspray or gel in it, so I don't have to soapy water it, which you'll understand what I mean. It just needs like a softer consistency and a better consistency to get the tangles out and to hopefully make it stop doing stuff like that. I feel like you should do this to an extent with any wig that you get out of a package, because first of all, you don't know what back alley factory that was made in, and also it's just good to have a really soft wig to start your styling with, unless you really want to not have it be silky, I guess. I'm sure there's probably advantages to it, but normally for the kind of styling I do, having it be soft and more hair-like is definitely better than this kind of greasy, plasticky feel. It will also get some of the shininess out of it. This one very much has like a Party City shine going on it. Those are going to be all your tools, and in the next shot I will show you, I think we're going to start with washing the wig that you have previously, because that has an extra step. So yeah, now we are in the bathroom with the world curtain for step 1 or step 0, depending on how you look at it, of washing and restoring a wig that has some major styling done to it. What you're going to want to do is start some water in a sink. You are going to throw this into the water along with some of this while it fills, so it gets nice and sudsy. And I usually mix it around a little and then leave it for about 15 minutes. The time is pretty much up to you. I don't think you can really damage a wig by leaving it in this too long, but you know. Another thing to keep in mind though is also you don't want the water too hot. Wigs react pretty okay with heat depending if it's a light enough heat, but you don't want to put it in boiling water just to wash it because you want to do that as few times as possible. So the wig shampoo that I suggested also even says do it in cold water. I have it in like lukewarm water. It's been about 15 minutes, I would say, and this is what my Eureka soapy soup mix looks like. It already feels a lot less stiff than when I threw it in there. This isn't the worst wig I've dealt with. I kind of wish I had a worse one almost to show you, but it definitely feels nicer now that I've done this. What you're gonna want to do next is go to your bathtub or shower, put the microphone stand and the wig head on top of it. You can also use a tripod. And you're going to quickly make your way from the sink to your bath or shower. If it's a long ways, maybe put in your tin bucket and carry it so that way you don't get water and soap on the floor, obviously. You're going to want to take the wig, which is going to be soaking wet, hopefully, if you did this right, and put it on my feet, and put it on the head, and you can either loop the head straps back behind it and put it under the chin, but this wig doesn't have any back straps, or it does, but I can't find them, or put some pins in it. I'm just using a couple little sewing pins. Right into the scalp of the wig, just so it's pretty unmovable. And then you're going to want to fill your bucket with water and rinse this out. You can also use your shower head, it's just mine doesn't spray out water very well, so... You can rinse it out as many times as you feel necessary. I think I'm going to do it one more time. You can also use a cup or something if you don't have a pot. That might be easier to go under a faucet. Yeah. Now, if you're just washing a wig, this is an okay place to stop. You don't technically have to do the next step that I'm going to do to both this one and the purple wig. But I think it's necessary to do it if your wig has significant amounts of damage to it, because it'll just give it a good texture to start back working with. But if you detangle from this step with this wig, you will probably be okay. And for reference, this is about where I would start following this tutorial if you are just using a new wig. So to start off, this is obviously a slightly longer wig. I'm just going to give it a basic brush through. I suggest doing that every time you get a new wig because it gets all the like factory loose ends and hairs out. Maybe don't do this part in your shower, but I can wash my shower. Just if you don't want to unclog your drain, maybe don't do this part in the bath. I just don't feel like taking this anywhere else. So you're going to want a slightly brushed out wig. If it's actually straight out of the package, which this one wasn't, it'll obviously be easier because it should be kind of not tangled if you're getting it out of the package and it's brand new, but like I know sometimes that's not the case. But yeah, time for step 2 and or like 4 depending on what wig procedure you're doing. So now for this step we are in the kitchen just because it's easier to film this part. What you're going to want to do, take your bucket, put it in a slightly bigger sink so that way you can fill it a good ways with water, enough that if you're doing 2 wigs like I am, they're both covered, but not overflowing the pot, obviously. Next thing you're going to want to do is take both wigs and put them into the pot with 2 to 3 cups, depending on how much you want to use, of fabric softener. I usually use about 1.5 cups per wig, which makes 3, but I think for this one, no, 3 sounds good with the amount of damage I have going right now. You can obviously use less or more depending on your preference. So, and from that point, you will take that bucket and put it somewhere safe for up to a week. I usually like to keep mine in there longer, but for video purposes, I will probably only soak these wigs for about a day. I've seen people do it from anywhere to an hour to literally a week. So, depending on how fluffy you want it, I put my Nina wig in there, which was a brand new wig out of the package, for like 5 days, and then when I took it out and I let it dry and then I fluffed it, it got really fluffy. So depends. I'd experiment with how fluffy you like things, but I think both of these wigs are either going to stay in there for a day, or if I forget about this video, a little longer. But yeah, I'll see you guys then. So, it has been 24 hours since I put the wigs in the soup. So I am going to take it to the next step of taking each wig out separately, rinsing it with a mug of water I have, and then brushing it out. I like to do a comb through while it's wet, and then you're supposed to let them air dry, so then I do a comb through when it's dry and finish detangling it. And then the wigs will be done, but you don't want to blow dry them, so it's going to be another period of waiting. So I've detangled it pretty thoroughly. I usually wouldn't do it as thoroughly with the wig wet, but this is a pretty fucked wig. But now that both have been combed through and there is Barney's pubes, we just have to wait until she's dry, and then I will style them just a little, maybe give them another brush through, and we will be done. So for this next step, I'm going to be dry brushing the wigs and detangling anything that I missed. And hopefully they'll be all soft and fluffy after, and then I'll give you a final look at how they've changed. So it has been another couple hours while I waited for them to dry a little farther than my dry brush. And here's the final product with our purple wig. I will be doing some bigger shots of it flying around, but see how soft and nice and not quite as like Party City shiny, it just has a more healthy shine on it. It's gotten more full, you can run your hands through it, has a good sway, has a good bounce. I did lose a lot of weight with detangling this wig, especially since it came to me so tangled, but it's still got a good amount. This cap at the top you'll see is not super great quality. If you move a little you see it. The bangs are better too, they're not as matted up. They're still a little matty looking, but that's just because I need to comb through them some more. And now to see your Rocka's dramatic transformation, we have this wig. It's still, I don't think I washed this one as good as I could have, because it's still a little matty down here. Mostly because it was just teased so much up in these upper cavities. Maybe I should detangle it a little more, I don't know. But it's also got a nice swing. It's not all moving as one piece anymore. You can see the general sheen going around it. It's not clumped with hairspray anymore. This wig is now ready to be restyled again. It's nice and clean. It smells nice. But this wig had been to a lot of conventions and definitely had gotten ruined. The styling wasn't even that good anymore, so here we go. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful, and really all that matters is you find a system of cleaning your wigs and maintaining them that works for you. How I would personally store these until I was sure they were completely dry, because the wig caps of these feel a little cool still. Is keep them on the heads until they are fully dry, and then I currently hang my long wigs off of my wall, and then my shorter wigs go on a hat stand. So that's probably what's going to happen to these two until they are ready to be restyled again. However you store your wigs is probably fine, as long as it's not a pile on the ground. I hope your day gets better from here. I've been Kai, and bye!